Minion Masters was an amazing game back then. It played really well, it got a tight PvP combat and was branching out to PvE. The only competition was Clash Royale on mobile. Minion Masters was a game at the right time and at the right place. It is one of my classical games, and as a live service game, I was always afraid that it will get worse with time, and it sadly did. Apologies for terrible footage. I use a ARC GPU, and since I upgraded to 4K, it gets overloaded and simply cannot capture footage of any game. And recently I struggled to capture even sound in this game, even when I lowered graphical settings. So ARC GPUs for creators is still quite bad. The main problem with this game is its lack of direction. Through the years, game development never went anywhere. Developers spent years of adding more and more stuff to the game, and now it feels like bloated, unbalanced mess. Why old PvE modes were taken away and not improved? Why new PvE mode is a literal joke? Why developers never improved various modes like draft? Entire game is full of checkbox features which were implemented seemingly in a prototype phase. From unfinished looking store to pointless guilds, Minion Masters is a game where you can find any in-game system and then compare such system in the other game and see just how much it is worse. I wonder why developers never realized that in order to maintain PC gamers, they needed to have a higher quality gameplay than one found on mobile. This is the issue with balance. Usually this play way back in early access would have been good. You just use 2 mana to get a little bit of XP, a little bit of damage. But he used 8 mana card, which gets 1 mana back for the other card when he kills a minion, and he gets very big burst damage. So he essentially now refunded 3 mana, and he will refund 4 points. So he got 4 mana card, which I needed to counter perfectly. Take a look at this combo. A charger can easily score 5 kills, lowering cost of his combo wombo. Then an opponent throws you 80 to 20 mana response out of a blue, to which you have very few ways of countering him. When you can combine this with various buffs, you could get easily added like healing, tombstones for resurrection. It is nearly impossible to counter such moves when your random opponent pulls out such strategies which you cannot predict. Back in my day, these minions would be put at the back when your killer would follow him. Eventually, you got a lot of time to prepare. To place assassin at the back and to bleed minions to distract the giant, or likewise to counterattack with a lot more dangerous attack. Game was naturally balanced. However, this just illustrates the state of balance so well. It is no longer about skill, but who can out BS the other the most. Finding the most broken combos is more important in this game now when you're outplaying your opponent. And just look at how bugged the screen is. This game has so many just bugs, visual bugs, lack of polish. This video clip highlights really well the experience which is Minion Masters right now. I like my second example in particular because it is such a clear of a card which was previously balanced, now being not balanced due to changes in gameplay. In order to counter the buildings, you needed a high damage spell or to counter push his flank in order to negate his investment before it pays off. Previously, Ranger's God was a well balanced niche card. It would occasionally produce units you needed to time it well and to build up all momentum which it provided with 3 units in order for it to pay off. However, as the game balance changed, buildings became broken. They spam now a never-ending stream of units, making countering the god with your units impossible. In this example, opponent plays Ranger's God at a slight advantage. He spent 6 mana, while I immediately responded with 5 mana push. I have an elite Jagel plus Plasma Marines, vanilla OG rock solid compa, tank at the front while favoring strong versatile damage dealing backline. However, my push is when immediately negated by opponent's risk hero ability. He spent 1 mana to immediately get rid of my 5 mana warp push. He is not only uncounterable with his buildings and their free value, but also he can immediately follow up with destroying my 5 mana push with his 1 mana ability. This is extremely problematic because 1 mana stuff regenerates very quickly and it doesn't require timing, which is why it is so powerful. In this case, I perfectly calculated how utterly broken minion balance is. To follow up my example, here is my master. I used his swap ability, which utterly destroyed his 4 mana card. This master gets insane value on the board all the time with his overpowered abilities. Back in my days, the constant value was from something like Stormbringer, who would constantly fire his weak arrows across the battlefield and would give you ranged units free strike ability to range advantage. What was it? A constant tagging of an enemy minions to finish them off or to gain favorable mana traits with marginal advantage for your range units. It was balanced and fair. This, however, is completely broken and nullifies entire cards just by being there. Game becomes less about being skillful and just card countering your opponents with deck archetypes, like most poorly balanced card games, ironically enough. In the end, I want to show you an old card. Spirit Mancer was and still is quite popular support card. I believe it is quite balanced, especially compared to all the value, free effects, wealth effects which you get on the cards these days. It was balanced and fun to have to play around him or to have it in your deck. Look here, it costs 4 mana. This immediately means that this card is expensive and you can place many powerful units for 4 mana. Its DPS is non-existent. This means that it must gain value through his utility. When its utility, look how it is capped. Only 1 spirit per minion. Only percentage based with minimum and maximum caps. This ensured that this card would not get broken with extreme combos. It also prevented him guard countering certain decks like squads. It was weak, it required support, it required skill to get use of it. And it was great. This is what the card game should be about. This is what made this card game great. It wasn't about BS combos, free value from a card. Each card needed to be placed skillfully to generate its mana value back. Nowadays, every card has a myriad of text effects, giving them free value. Game became less about skill and more about spamming cards, reducing arena size and increasing mana gain rate with seemingly faster in-game clock made this game far worse. Often it is enough just to outspam your opponent. Minions do not have any more time to gain value, positioning matters a lot less, careful placement and timing became unimportant. This game changed so fundamentally for the worse. It is now less competitive than Clash Royale and it has way worse PvP balance. It also failed to produce interesting content to keep players daily. Its PvE content is laughable when it is needed to compete with Rumble 2. This game went nowhere after so many years and with patches, it manages only to degrade and regress. I cannot recommend Minion Masters anymore. Play Clash Royale for PvP and Rumble for PvE. They are each way better games in their own spheres, while this project went nowhere after getting popular.